Are you sitting on the electronics?
I'm gonna try not to.
Don't get that Jeremy Clarkson butt sweat on you. It's not funny, Casey. That's a dad joke. But that's how I roll. Do we know what we're doing?
I don't.
We actually know exactly what we're doing. We just haven't done this before. You have to manually put it into gear and push it forward a little bit so that the engine will turn over and you can have it resting on different valve springs. As opposed to actually making fire happen inside of it in a bang bang boom boom way. What was that like?
Awesome.
Yeah, why?
It's just cool.
You know what? This man said he got a haircut the other day. I don't believe him. I am old and tired and cranky and have to fix things and take care of kids. Oh God, I'm turning into a dad. No, I am a dad. Can you see my New Balances? No, disappointing. I don't know if I'm gonna make a joke that I just blew you with this leaf blower, or if it sort of looked like the opening to James Bond. Either way, I'm not very cool, but what behind me is cool. I think I said that wrong. Anyway, that's the Lotus T125 Exosphere. It was the third fastest car around the Top Gear test track back in the day, beaten by, I guess, a Renault Formula One car and some Volkswagen prototype, which is funny because, I don't know, Volkswagens are slow. Oh, by the way, this leaf blower here is something that we're going to modify. We've got two of them to stick into the nacelles. I don't know if they're called nacelles, but the engines on the Starship Enterprise are, and I feel like being a nerd. Anyway, we stick those in there to blow air through the radiator, so when you come ripping in the pits, shut it off, there'll still be airflow through it, and so the blazing hot radiant heat from the headers will not just light the car on fire, which is a actual problem. But today I'm at the shop in the evening by myself because I have to fix it. We were prepping it yesterday with the students to get it ready this year for us to test and race and make it a viable car rather than it just being a big paperweight. Admittedly, I personally sort of like it being a big paperweight as opposed to actually making fire happen inside of it in a bang bang boom boom way because I am old and tired and cranky and have to fix things and take care of kids. Oh God, I'm turning into a dad. No, I am a dad. And this is really expensive and difficult to fix. So if it stays a paperweight, I don't have to fix it. But that's kind of pointless when it comes to life. And not as good of a learning experience for the students. Or all of you out there, or very inspirational. So we are going to carry forward, yes, with the spirits of adventure and learning and competition and, I don't know, using our lower brain more than our upper brain. So let's look at it. I am being professional. This is professionally casual, and you are welcome. In any case, this is a table, and on the table is a bunch of junk to other people, but to us it's treasure. One man's trash is another man's treasure, and this treasure is stuff to make the Lotus Exosphere work and go. And in this giant box, which is great and mighty, it's big enough I can go inside. And there's a lot of cool parts in here that we need, such as brake rotors and springs of various stiffnesses and transformers for the tire warmers, which are right here. I'm not getting those out tonight. And then there's these crummy Bosch European only blowers. Yeah, maybe this is part of the reason why it would light on fire. They had crappy little blowers for Europe where they have teeny tiny leaves and they're teeny tiny lawns. Yeah, no, this is America. We have vast sums of land and awesomeness, and we need big leaf blowers. If you don't like me being silly, I have to point out that the whole world has gone insane. So, to fit in, I have decided to act insane. Yes. Who wants to be normal? You're welcome. So there it is. Got the engine cover off, and I'm just going to walk around and we're going to look at it together here. One thing, hide the plugs out of it. This beautiful machined Cosworth piece of aluminum with the wiring here, there are 4 coil packs attached that go down in very small holes to the spark plugs. They're rather smaller or narrower spark plugs than normal. They don't have like the little electrode finger. It's just the hole, and they're super cold. They're really fascinating. You got to be nice with it. So put the plugs back in. Some of the things that have to happen to this vehicle after it had been sitting. Now, one thing that has to happen as it sits basically every week, or a couple of weeks if you're being lazy, you have to manually put it into gear and push it forward a little bit so that the engine will turn over and you can have it resting on different valve springs. Right here is the pneumatic ram for the shift lever, which is right here. It's sequential. It's just kind of like on a motorcycle, okay? And then there is your shifting and clutch valves and computer and stuff to make all that work. Now over here is the clutch, which is pneumatic and hydraulic. There is the clutch master cylinder. There's the reservoir. Here's the high pressure line that goes down to the throwout bearing, which is inside the bell housing. And then all of this operates the hydraulic cylinder for the clutch, which is operated by either one of the lower paddles on the steering wheel, which you can see right here. Now the paddle, which I'm just gonna show you guys, hopefully I don't drop this, because I'm doing it one-handed. Look at all that stuff in there. Maybe there's still some of Jeremy Clarkson's butt sweat in the cockpit. Yes, I said Jeremy Clarkson's butt sweat. Anyway, so here, I'm gonna set it down gently, is the back of the steering wheel, okay? Now these two paddles here both do the same thing, they're the clutch. And it works exactly the same way as a pedal does. It's not just bang, bang, on or off. As I push it in, I can modulate it and slip it coming out of the pits, either one, okay? And then of course you have your upshift here and your downshift here. Keep in mind the steering wheel is upside down, so for people weirding out there. And then the electrical plug is down inside there. There, you can see all the contacts that run the computer and everything going on here. Now, the car is simpler than an F1 car at the time. Thank God, because I really don't want to mess with all that malarkey. It has a number of things which make it a lot nicer to work with. You'll notice here is the auxiliary battery that is plugged in and being charged on a nice little cart. And here is the plug for the battery. The battery plugs in here on the back of the car, which is in a great place to make whomever's back here deaf when it fires up. They'll never be able to hear a thing after it. But we can wear earphones, mitts, headphones, socks, plugs, something like that. Or if you're a Marine, you can just stick bullets in your ears. No, I'm not being mean. That's like what they do. Anyway, yes, so it actually has, look at this, a boat anchor. I mean, an onboard starter. Isn't that nifty? So you can literally go through all your malarkey, which I'll show you. We're going to hop in. And when it's time and the parameters are correct, you can literally push the button and start it up. Theoretically, that's never worked for me. Because the other day was the first time we were going to start the car while it's in our possession. Casey, why didn't you start it a long time ago when you got it? Because we had no purpose to start it. So why would I put wear upon a car that we're not about to use? That, I mean, look at that thing. Do you really think it's going to be cheap or not time consuming to fix? Yeah, we're trying to be nice to it. So anyway, by the way, did I tell you that breaking this thing scares the shit out of me? I haven't had any nightmares yet. It takes a lot more to make me have nightmares, but breaking this thing is one of them. So I'm gonna try not to do that. Anyway, also, let's be honest. We're in a leaky 1940s Quonset hut in the middle of Ohio. There are cornfields surrounding us, and I have no peers here to work with, no corporate sponsor, no state knots, no school, nothing. And entirety of this Genius Garage is being done by my own sweat equity and insane care and thousands of hours donated for free, and my wife and other people who care. So we really, really, really don't want to break that. Okay. All right, so the starter. So here's the problem. The battery theoretically is charged up all the way, but I would have to test it. Now, the car has an onboard battery. We're going to show it to you here. It's right there. And yeah, it's sort of partially held in by big zip ties, which is probably okay, but I'm gonna maybe do something different. Anywho, so in starting this over, the parameters, oh crap, I left the manuals at home. Anyway, there's a couple parameters from the Cosworth original starting thing that when the oil in the sump tank has to be at a minimum, showing a minimum of 3.5 liters in it before you can turn it over. And what they want you to do is turn the motor over with the plugs and all for 10 seconds, 3 times to make sure it's primed properly. Now, I know I'm walking around and this is a terrible video probably. I want to show you something on the steering wheel which we'll put back on. You turn it to the engine map 2, 3, or 4. Truth of the matter is 2, 3, and 4 do literally nothing, so it won't fire. But 1 will be fire. so the engine will run the way it's supposed to. It's literally mapped basically on or off. But you turn it to the off, so when you turn it over, you're just doing that to check the oil pressure. Now, it's kind of funny and pedantic that they said 3 times, because the problem is that's a lot of work on that starter, and it was starting to smoke. Now, you got to let a little smoke out now and then. Didn't concern me too much. However, when we went to fire it, there was just enough draw on the batteries, and the starter is probably just unhappy enough that the manual says the car has to see 300 RPMs for it to fire, for it to say, okay, fire. And when I started paying attention, because it wasn't firing, which surprised me, it was only showing 230 to 260 RPMs. And that's not enough. So then we let the starter cool down for a while and charged the battery some more and did it one last time, and all we got it to do was 275 RPM. So what I was gonna do, hypothetically tonight, is change the starter out, because we have another one. And I figured I would rebuild that one or zhuzh it up, or try to put some voodoo magic on it or something to make it happy. Where's the darn starter? Man, I thought it was cool. Okay, hold up. Here we go. I think this is the starter. Oh yeah, it's a boat anchor, feels like one. Here we go. I don't actually know if this is gonna fit. I assume it's gonna fit because it came with everything. So it's kind of neat, and the trouble with real race cars is they have teeny tiny flywheels, if any at all. The clutch on the Indy car is a 4.5-inch clutch and 3 discs, so it's like this big around. And I would assume that clutch is about the same, which means the bell housing for the transaxle, 1, it's a stress member, 2, the oil's in it. There's no room for anything, and it's a teeny clutch. So to have an actual ring gear on there to have a starter is kind of nutty. So that's why this starter is this kooky thing here. It's pretty conventional in terms of this part here. Oh, that's nifty. There's silicone in there for no apparent reason. Huh, weird. Okay, anyway, but if you notice, it's got this reduction, which honestly is not that odd. I've seen stuff like this in the realm of sprint cars and stuff. So this, of course, would move forward to engage. That's kind of neat. So the starter gear, as it would normally be in a car, is right in here. And when it pops out, this whole thing pops out, so it spins a little faster. So it's the opportunity to get the teeth from here over so it can get in there tight. So I think what I'm gonna do tonight is literally just put this one on. I do see it's got a bronze bushing here, or bearing, depending on what you want to call it, and there's a little bit of grease and it's pretty clean, so it should be fine. I don't think I should have to do anything to it, but I want to take the old one off and clean it up and see if I can make happier. So it's going to have however many bolts are here holding it in on the car. I hope I don't have to drop the Venturi. God, I hope I don't have to do that. I'm going to be honest, you guys, it's kind of late. Well, it's not that late. It's only 7:15, but I had dinner and I was already at home. I was taking care of the baby today while trying to do some work. And when you're home all day and looking after the baby, she's fantastic, but I can't calm down my inner drive, and it kind of makes me edgy. And then to come here in the middle of the night, come here late to work on this by myself just feels like I'm the last man on earth and there's no point to do anything at all. And kind of, it's just me being a head case. But when I've been helping kids for a decade and not getting paid or doing anything for my own career in life, man. Anyway, sometimes you have moments. All right, let's go find out if this is gonna be annoying or if I'm just being a whiny little bee. Can't we do both? Okay, camera, race car. Race car. Spaceship! Spaceship! Oh, it is buried. No. You really gotta be that buried, don't you? Okay, I'm not doing this by myself tonight. Great. Well, let's go over how the car functions and light up the steering wheel for you guys. I think you'll enjoy that. Okay, so tomorrow I have to drive out of town. The weekend I got things going on. Nobody's around till Monday or Wednesday, and we're supposed to test it next Friday, which means I'm not gonna have anybody to work on this with until Monday, assuming they're able to. Shall we? Is this connected? Yeah, everything's connected. The battery's connected. It'll work. It'll totally work. There's no seat in it right now. The seat's right here. Isn't that nifty? Wire. Okay, so it's a little easier to get into. It doesn't have the head surround, which makes it tricky to get into because you gotta be skinny and then turn yourself sideways 90 degrees to get your shoulders up underneath it and go like hunk, like down in that. But it's off right now to make my life a little easier. Here's the steering wheel. I'm going to put it on, yes. You can see some padding here, foam padding. That could be finished off a little nicer. There's padding here, there's padding here, because your knobby knees will be boinking around. I don't have the seat in, so I've got a lot more room on the way back, so. Can you see my New Balances? No, disappointing. If it makes you guys feel any better, my New Balances are dirty from mowing the lawn. This is the view, I think. I'm super nearsighted, I'm staring at the screen. Okay. All right, so let's see if I'm not dumb. So here is the main on. Look, a red light, yes. When I bring the ignition on, the steering wheel should light up. What do you know? It's too bright, there we go. All right, so you guys will hear that now. That sound is the little air compressor in the rear crush zone type cone thing in the back. I don't know what you call it, I'm tired. It's on the back of the transaxle, so it's pressurizing. And that other little noise you heard was the fuel pump priming and going past the regulator and back into the tank. Okay, so the air has now primed. So let's see, here we go. Let me turn it over. This is the warm-up page here. You guys can see we got oil temperature, water temperature, air temperature, map indication, oil pressure here in bars, fuel pressure in bars, battery voltage, your gear indicator, and RPM at the top. Throttle, let's see. Yeah, it says 91.3 and I'm flooring it. And it does no more. So we're not gonna worry about it, it's close. Let's pretend it's zoned in for that right now. Okay, so oil temperature, water temperature, oil pressure. This presumably is the screen you actually drive it with because the temperatures and oil pressure is the only things you really need to see when you're doing that much other than gear indicator and RPM at the top. You've got your shift lights here. For whatever reason, the guys before us put this piece of tape over the top. I believe that it was hitting the shift point here. So maybe the gears lights are not programmed perfectly and they just put the tape there to indicate. It's also slightly possible that they just put that on there as a reminder. It's like, hey, you know you don't need to use all the RPM. It might last a little longer. I could be. They may be just doing it a few hundred RPM short. We'll find out. So I can look over to this. Now that's interesting. Hold on. I'm hoping and guessing that's lap time, which would be really nice and helpful to watch your improvement. This is largely, oh, that's weird. This is kind of a weird map here. Because these are water temperature and oil pressure. What's the other one give you? Oil temperature too. There's your RPM. Presumably you'd have lights. There's your battery and speed and neutral. That's not a bad map either. It doesn't give you time. I'd rather have time. Who cares how fast you're going? And then my brake bias. If I push the brake pedal, you can see what's going on right there. Now, I'm not entirely certain. I could try adjusting this. So if I push it down pretty hard, or saying 80%, I'm not pushing that hard, just kind of checking it out. And these kind of bust around crazy. Rear brake pressure, front brake pressure is like nothing on it, tight a bit on it. That's really skitzing out a lot right there. So two, let's see. Yeah. There might be something wrong with the front brake pressure sensor. So I don't actually know if this is giving me a correct indication there, but what I do have is the brake bias adjuster. So I'm gonna go 2 full turns front and see if anything happens. 1, I'm doing 2 so I can come right back to it and let's see if anything happens. It seems about the same, so let's just go back. All right, so there's that. I'm not gonna try to turn it over right now because I don't have the auxiliary battery in it. so it'd be pointless on the little one. But that's what's up, you guys. I wanted to show you that. Clutch position, clutch diagnostic, that's interesting. Okay, barrel. All right, let me pull the clutch and let's watch. I'm gonna pull the clutch. It appears the clutch position here goes through a range of 200, but at 100 it flips back over. When I went all the way through the sweep, it does that. So that was kind of interesting. Are there any other clutch positions on here? No, that's it. Okay. So a couple of weird things on here, which I'm not going to use. I mean, obviously this is for the radio. This allegedly is for automatic clutch. That's for automatic upshifting. We're not gonna do that. This is to select neutral. If it's in gear, when you don't just pull it again to go into neutral. That would be bad on the track. You have to push a button to go to neutral in the pits. Page, traction control is dialable here, and then this is your engine map to fire it. This is where it'll be off, which is actually kind of interesting. I'm gonna turn it off with the ignition, and I'm gonna turn the ignition back on with it on too, where it won't fire, and see if the fuel pump primes. No, it still primes. Never mind. Okay, I was just curious. Rain light. Let's see if that turns on. I'm looking in the mirror. I don't see anything. Pit. All right. And then here's your fire. This is for checking the battery of your fire extinguishing system. This would arm the system, and then you'd push that to set it off. You put it in the middle, and if you test the system, you can push it. But to be honest, I hardly trust enough to do that right now. And that's that. I believe, here's your radio antenna. I'm kind of guessing this is for a different radio. I'm guessing. Let's see what else we got here. This, by the way, is where you plug in to charge the battery. Various other plugs here. All right, let's turn it off. Button's off. Okay, so how anticlimactic is this? Fairly. I gotta be honest, I'm pretty disappointed. I'm trying to think if I get this under tray off by myself. And this is the moment the wind was whisked from his sails. Let's look at the under tray together. Here we go, we're on the ground. Oh, also the car is on stands, so even in full droop, it's 2 inches off the ground with the tire contact patch. So if it looks like a monster truck right now, it's because it's not actually sitting on the ground. Let's look together. You can see it's sitting on that stand, and then one up there, maybe you can see it. Okay, anyway, look at my dumb face. Ah. Oh, man. I'm gonna get my t-shirt dirty here. Look, oh yeah. Creepers are for creepers. Okay, here we go. It's not funny, Casey. That's a dad joke. But that's how I roll. Okay. All right. I saw it on a t-shirt. Shoot me. Don't shoot me. Somebody out there might try. Okay. It looks like there's a lot of stuff that has to come undone. And I believe the under tray is what the battery sits on. Damn, man. Seriously? This is annoying. Oh, look at all that malarkey. Oh, that doesn't look like it's not broken. What is even? Oh, there's the alternator. I wonder where that thing was. Yep, there's a water pump. That makes sense. Okay. Heat exchanger. This is a really wonderfully packaged car, I gotta be honest. It looks great and everything's smart. Except this damn Venturi tunnels are in my way. Well, it's also got things like this supporting it. The cables to the engine block and whatnot. This one's underneath the heat shielding. I'm gonna have to do this with the guys. Damn it. So the other thing that kind of sucked, I'll just tell you guys straight up. So I waited this year to confirm students coming because there's things going on in my life, one related to politics, that I was afraid to go ahead and accept students here earlier. Hey, look at the golden hour. Ooh, golden sunlight. I was afraid to get students here earlier in case a bunch of things happen in my life. It wouldn't be fair to them, so I had to wait. Unfortunately, that all didn't pan out because, like so many times in life, somebody just flakes out on you completely. So that set me behind and the program behind and getting the car done and everything like that, and my entire life and YouTube and all that jazz. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm doing the best I can. Man. The other thing that stinks about the Exosphere, there's only so many times we can go test the thing because it's open wheel. And it's so damn fast, to be honest. There's only so many track days or club things or race nights or whatever that I would even take it to, because you're just so much faster than everything else that normally comes out to the track that it doesn't create a great situation for a shakedown or anything for that matter. And so next Friday is the next time we can test it. And the two guys that are here now are the least experienced students I've had in a while, so that makes it tough. I don't know, you guys, like, the other thing is for the people that see me doing more talking videos like home my garage, like, that's about all I can do because I'm here by myself, as you guys can tell. And I gotta be honest, you guys, like, I'm getting tired of being where I'm at because there's no cool car stuff going on. There's nobody that works on anything like this. There's no peers, there's nobody to work with, there's nothing to do. And I'm sitting here just going nuts, like, you know, with the YouTube channel and these cool cars and stuff. I've got no team, no peers, no nothing. I'm just a freak in the middle of a cornfield. And I'm really tired of being in the middle of a cornfield. I don't mind being a freak, but it'd be really nice to have, you know, some people to work with to go do something big beyond me just helping a bunch of kids. Like, that's nice and all, but I can do that for a hobby. Kind of like to go do something myself. So anyway, if anybody out there is watching and you need an abnormal type of person to do abnormally difficult and challenging and interesting things, preferably racing, I don't know, whatever, we'll go to the moon, call me. There's the Mercy, yay. There's some baby bunnies here, but they're not here anymore. Hopefully their mom took them somewhere better. I was afraid something bad would happen to them around the shop. That's all I got. So from this deserted island, somebody send rescue. I'd really like to do something with my life. See you guys next time. Hopefully we'll have some people to take the undertray off. We're back, and now I have people to help me. And I was working this weekend. See, I'm breaking things. That's just what I do. Anyway, you can see now that the car looks like a fluffy dog that fell in a big puddle or lake. We removed the undertrays, the front keel board, side pods and everything to get at the starter. And also, this is Grayson, and that's Gene, he's back. So Gene's part of the serious Genius Garage program. We have more students coming soon. And I'm also standing like this because we don't have a cameraman. Will you get the old starter so we can show them that? We were not hitting the 300 RPM minimum needed for the computer to decide to fire the engine. And also, the starter, as you can see here, when we were cranking it to make sure there's oil pressure and stuff, was releasing something known as smoke. And since this is an English car, that's not releasing bald eagles and freedom of horsepower. That's like releasing Winston Churchill's cigar smoke, which doesn't seem helpful in this circumstance. But what we found out is the lead that goes from the solenoid here for all the power to the starter has got kind of a funny lead, and it was getting really hot and smoking there. So at the very least, there'd be a lot more resistance. So we just decided, let's grab the spare starter that's brand new, put it in. Now we just turned it over, and it is now over the 300 minimum. So we're going to fire this thing up for the first time at Genius Garage and hope it goes well. We have turned the car over so that the appropriate amount of oil is now in the sump tank and has not drained from time slowly down into the engine sump. And also that we are seeing a minimum amount of oil pressure to the motor before we can fire it. Now this particular one was built as such with it being a reasonable room temperature that we can fire it this way. So we need to make sure this works because Friday we would like to go do a quick shakedown at a local track before we get too serious and know what else we need to do. Now, do we want to yank the rear wheels and try to do a clutch and gearbox test this time too?
I'm not sure. I mean, probably should. Just to play it safe.
Well, it's up in the air right now. Did you want to go grab the giant torque wrench? We're smart and we totally know what we're doing. Yeah, we know what we're doing. We just haven't done this before. And don't make us act smart. Isn't that something that irritates you guys? Like corporations and everybody trying to be, hi, I'm perfectly poised and going to say the exact verbiage you need. And we have made this whole area flawless. Recently, our corporation has spent $14,000 on a cameraman with some equipment that looks funny and is going to be like this. It's going to be edited to make the most boring, pretty video possible where we say nothing interesting at all. But you should think that we're special. Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. We're just people and we're figuring stuff out. Oh, thank you, sir! The giant soul of Azeroth. By the way, when the character of Vin Diesel in the first Fast and Furious apparently beat somebody half to death with a half-inch torque wrench, what a loser. This is a torque wrench. Okay, forwards is loose on this side. Gene, will you get in the car and push the brake? Please. I like Gene's stature. He's able to get in the car without taking the steering wheel off. Are you sitting on the electronics?
I'm gonna try not to.
Don't get that Jeremy Clarkson butt sweat on you. No response. Whoa, where'd he go? Gene, you in there?
Oh, yeah.
you sort of vanished in there, buddy.
I gotta reach the brakes somehow.
All right, well, I don't know how well this is gonna go because the car's up in the air and it's balanced on the front. I don't think the rears are torqued though, so that's gonna be helpful. You pushing the brake?
Yeah.
Don't get psychotic. A little more, please. A little more. More. Push it like you're racing. Well, that's not going well. Were you pushing it very hard?
Yeah.
Like.
I'm trying not to crush electronics as well. So.
Oh, well, you don't really fit. Are you gonna push it now? Maybe that'd be helpful.
Right.
Oh, thank you. Here we go. Damn it, this would work a lot better if it was on the floor we had an impact, you know what? Would you be a lamb? Get the jack and jack up the rear and put it on the ground? What? No, I can stay. As long as you're not a freak about it. No, you're a freak, dude. I know you. Gene, you gonna stay in there and be useful?
Actually, very uncomfortable without the seat.
Well, what are you sitting on?
Bare carbon fiber?
Bare carbon fiber's not uncomfortable.
It is in this shape.
Is that a seatbelt? Well, just don't hurt the electronics. Remember, people heal, cars don't. Okay, I am a good role model. We know what we're doing, we swear. Are you in the forwardmost position there, Grayson? So hold on, don't do anything yet. Let's see, which one do we do first? We do the front one first. Don't do anything yet, I gotta do mine first. You cool with that? All right. Okay. Okay, I'll put this down first. See, the braking effect of our rear wheels should help with the car being on the ground. We're smart. Okay, up you go. Okay, you good? Okay, down you go. Okay. All right, Gene, can you push the brake without screwing up the electronics, please? What? All right. Do it.
Yeah.
Damn, that seemed tighter than it.
I think you did torque those ones the other day.
Yeah, apparently. Okay, here we go. Nothing broken yet, Gene?
No.
All right, here we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Back up. You still in there?
Yeah.
Okay. We're so cool.
Back up first.
Yep. That's what I meant when I said back up. All right, hang on. Don't go down until I tell you. Down. Hee hee hee. You gotta put some serious torque on those wheels, you know? All right, you took the jack out, right? Gene, will you put the front down, please?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, now set the stand on the ground over there somewhere. All right. Okay, grab the socket off of the ratchet, and you have to put the socket on all the way so the safety little fingers will let it come off. Safety fingers. Okay. Do 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 do. Okay. As a note, you guys, the wheels on the right side of the car are left-hand thread because they tighten going to the left. Now, the easiest way to remember with race cars, since one side is different than the other, is that tightening in reverse rotation from what the car does going forward. So we always think of front or rear or left or right, not in terms of the person's perspective, but in terms of the car. So if tightening is going backwards in terms of rotation with the car. So then everything else is irrelevant. You got it off? Well, yank the wheel. Just go ahead and set the wheels over there so they're out of our way. And they're marked, so shouldn't be a problem. Okay, I'm gonna set the, oh, and Gene, we need to put the little bolt and jet nut for the old starter back in the old starter tang. Okay? The little jet nut and stuff from the old starter, we need to put that back in. And then the wheel nut, will you bring it over here, please? So we'll keep them consolidated. Okay. All right, I'm gonna plug in the camera and just let it roll while we do this. And then let's just concentrate on what we're doing and get through firing this up, cycling it through the gears of the gearbox, getting it to the temperature where you would leave the pits, and then just killing it. Make sense? Does that sound good? Okay.
Does it have a operating temperature before you go through the gears?
Yeah, it does. And then let's, we'll go through that in a minute with the camera. Okay guys, I got the normal mic from the camera on. So we're gonna try to fire it, assuming it fires, and all of the specs on the dash look right. We're gonna go through that, we're gonna warm it up slightly. Initially, I'll be holding the clutch in with it in neutral so it starts easier. When it starts and fires and is running, I'll let the clutch out, and then we'll let the temperature come up a little bit, and then I will pull the clutch in again, put it in first gear, let it out so this will spin, and then at reasonably low RPM, I will cycle it through and shift up through the gears to make sure all that is working, and then downshift to first, and then neutral, clutch, neutral, check to make sure all that's working. We're gonna bring the water temperature up to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's where we're gonna, or excuse me, Celsius, and that's where we're gonna kill it. When I kill it, I'm gonna before we kill it, once the water temperature gets to that point, we're gonna bring the RPMs up and keep it at 5,000 RPMs for approximately 10 seconds. Then we'll kill it. I'll hop out. I'm gonna check the oil level in the sump tank with our super fancy dipstick. Yeah, that's literally how you do it. And that will be that. So the guys will have hearing protection. Gene is here. Smile, Gene. Grayson's over there. We have a Halotron fire extinguisher over there handy. I will be in the car monitoring the gauges, and I have the best control over all the controls there, obviously. Those guys will be my eyes out here, since I can't see what's going on there. I have a job to do there. Their job to do is to watch everything to make sure nothing bad is happening. If something bad happens, they will signal to each other and to me to immediately kill it. I do not feel bad if we kill it. If there was a false alarm, I will feel bad if we don't kill it and there's something wrong with it. So that's just an aspect of safety in doing something like this. Obviously we have a fire extinguisher there. This burns gasoline, not methanol, so you can see the flames if there were to be some, but I don't think we're gonna have that problem because we've been checking it and nothing is leaking yet, and oil pressure and all that is good. Guys, we'll just leave the auxiliary battery plugged in the whole time, I think. I take that back. Let's remove that after it's running.
Okay.
Okay? Because I wanna make sure that this thing runs properly on its normal battery. Otherwise, we're not testing things well. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. When I go to put it in gear and spin it over with the wheels up, there should be no problem with it doing that, but if there's some horrible noise or something weird's happening, or one doesn't want to spin or something, get me to stop and I'll pull in the clutch. Okay? All right, well, shall we try this? You guys get your hearing protection?
Yep.
I'm not gonna wear any so I can hear you better. Plus I'm old, who cares? So you're going to be over here where I can see you. One person needs to be where I can see you. You remember the hand signals? This means everything is good. That's all I want to know.
Okay.
If you hold this up and there's a pause, this means stop what you're doing, everything's fine. Okay? And this is kill it.
Okay.
Just kill it.
Say
Okay?
something real sticking. Should I?
You don't have to tell me stuff, but I just want to know if something is going wrong so I can kill it, okay? Like, if you want to tell me what's going on, you can lean over and yell at me.
All right.
All right?
Yep.
Bop, bop, bop. This is the moment. This is the moment where we take the toy out of the package. And everything can go wrong, and it will be our responsibility to fix. So, here we go. Please don't break. Okay, do we have everything? You guys got everything you need? Fire extinguisher's there, you both know how to use it, right? Gene, do you want to be on this side so you can see what's going on, but don't block the camera, if you can help it? Who's going to remove the starter battery lead? Gene, you're going to do that?
Is it just yank?
Yeah, you grab this handle and just yank it out, okay? Maybe it should be here so you can walk around it, right? Just yank that, make sure it's on the ground, and the contact's not going to touch something weird, okay? I know it's going to be loud once we're shooting it and stuff, but that's what's up. If there's fire, if there's crazy shit going on, just tell me to cut, okay?
Yep.
Oh, God. This isn't scary. You're going to have to disconnect that when it runs, remember? So while you're back there. You can stand next to it, you don't have to be right by the exhaust. I want to see if I can find the fuel pressure page. That was the fuel pump running right there. Doesn't get any fuel pressure. We're going to have to adjust the throttle, possibly it's only showing 91%. Alright, I'm going to make sure we got all the pressure in. Oh shit, I pushed the wrong button. Damn it. Hang on. I pushed the off button instead of the starter button. That's stupid. There we go. Map's on the right spot. Ready, guys?
That is loud. I'm gonna go outside real quick.
You said it was loud? You had ear protection on.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
So is it shooting fire out of both?
Yeah.
Okay. What was that like?
Awesome.
Yeah, why?
It's just cool.
You know what? This man said he got a haircut the other day. I don't believe him. Look at that. Okay, so you good? How do you like that?
Like a lot.
Oh, yeah. I like that too. Gene, why are you out here?
It's loud. I need to sit down after that.
Why? Excitement or fumes?
I think it's a bit of both.
I don't believe you. It's all excitement.
I'd say so.
You said your body's shaking?
Yeah,
because it's scary?
I can feel, I can't hear on my right side. Right?
How? You had earphones on.
I know. That's the thing. It was that loud.
Okay, well, you're fine. It'll be good. That's all right. You got 2 ears. 2.
Yeah.
All right. That was pretty exciting. Holy crap. Do we know what we're doing?
I don't.
Okay, well, so it runs, and all system checks were nominal, Captain. So let's venture out into the neutral zone and pick a fight. Yes! See you next time. We actually know exactly what we're doing. We just haven't done this before, and that's the most fun time. See ya.